The movie begins in dystopian Japan. The government has implemented a rule known as the National Prosperity Law. According to it, 1 in every 1,000 citizens must die each year. The citizens to be killed are chosen through a lottery system and notified 1 day prior to their ultimate death. The law is supposed to create an appreciation for life by instilling fear of death. That way, the citizens will work harder to make something out of the little time they have, since they can die any day. For the part about how death is inflicted, every kid at the age of 10 must be injected with a chemical that embeds a special chip into their body. If they are selected in the lottery later in life, the chip bursts at a given time and kills them. It is efficient, quick, and painless. At the beginning of the film, we see a man named Yusuke frantically running down a busy road. He frequently checks the time, as if he is running late for something. It turns out that Yusuke was notified about his death 23 hours ago, and is about to die at exactly 11 p.m. He must do something very important before his death, which is why he is in a hurry. Yusuke ends up in a pub and attacks a man. In high school, the man and his friends bullied Yusuke until he had to be taken to the hospital. They burned his hand with cigarettes and humiliated him daily. In the last hour of his life, Yusuke wants revenge on the guy. However, seconds before he attacks, the clock hits 11 and he dies without fulfilling his last wish. In the following scene, we are introduced to notifiers, the people whose job it is to inform the chosen citizens about their fate 24 hours prior to their deaths. They are specially trained for years before being employed, since the news of death is not something the government takes lightly. The instructor explains the process of chip placement before telling the notifiers how the law has changed Japan for the better. The national crime rate has decreased by half, while the GDP and productivity have risen dramatically. Everyone listens to the instructor carefully until a man gets up and expresses his dissatisfaction with the law. He claims that it is cruel and makes people live in fear for most of their lives. Before he finishes his speech, some guards pull the man out of the room and send him for punishment. It is then disclosed that anyone who opposes the law is executed. Following the person's removal, the lecture continues. After being informed about their impending deaths, the citizens will be given a paper called the Ikigami. Using it, they can travel and eat for free for the remainder of their lives. The Ikigami also provides monetary compensation to the family of the deceased. However, if the person who died has a criminal record, the family doesn't get any benefit. With that being said, the instructor urges the notifiers to be proud of their jobs. The protagonist of the film, Fujimoto, is also an attendee of the meeting and a new notifier. On his first day at work, Fujimoto is given the file of a young man named Tsubasa, who has been chosen to die the next day. Tsubasa is a talented street musician who is just gaining recognition and has a bright future ahead of him. This is fine. Street musicians never have a bright future ahead of them. The only people he is close to in life are his single mother and his friend, Morio. Morio and Tsubasa have known each other for most of their lives and are a musical duo. Meanwhile, Tsubasa's mother only has her son to rely on, as she is growing old. When Fujimoto reaches their home, he is told that Tsubasa is out working. On being asked why he is here, Fujimoto hands the Ikigami to the mother, telling her that her son has less than 24 hours to live. The woman breaks into tears as the nightmare she feared the most comes to life. She throws water on Fujimoto's face, telling him to get out of the house. Later, Tsubasa returns home and is told about the Ikigami. He hopelessly sits on his bed and remembers all the good times he had in life. The first face that comes to his mind is his best friend, Morio, who he betrayed just some hours ago. A flashback of the days shows us that Fujimoto and Morio were approached by a reality show producer. Fujimoto was asked to sign a deal with the company that would kickstart his career, but to join the show, he had to ditch his best friend. He signed the papers without thinking about it, but now that his death is near, he would rather have his friend than participate in the stupid show. The next day, Tsubasa goes to an expensive restaurant and enjoys a special feast using his Ikigami. Following the meal, he goes to Morio and apologizes for what he did. Morio's anger hasn't worn off yet. Plus, Tsubasa didn't bring him for that dope meal. Hence, he refuses to listen. With nowhere else to be, Tsubasa goes to the studio to take part in the show and make a statement for the last time. He is paired up with a new guy who he is supposed to sing with. Elsewhere, Morio talks to Tsubasa's mother and finds out about the Ikigami. Regretting not talking to his friend for the last time, he quickly turns on the TV to watch him on the show. The performance starts, and Tsubasa ignores the director's instructions, resorting to singing soul solo rather than with the new partner, knowing that this is the last time he will sing. Tsubasa pours his heart and soul into the performance, making people feel his music. He manages to accumulate his past, present, and future into a single song and dies right after the performance. His mother breaks down crying alongside Morio. Fujimoto, who is also watching the show, is left in tears. The incident goes viral on the internet and shocks many people. A politician named Kazuko takes advantage of the death and uses it to promote her campaign for an upcoming election. This is the most realistic part of the story so far. Meanwhile, Fujimoto is handed the file of his second client, named Naoki. He goes to the person's house, but no one opens the door. Just when he is about to leave, Fujimoto spots Naoki through a window, about to commit the unthinkable. He quickly breaks into the house and saves Naoki in the nick of time. However, the guy is neither grateful nor happy. He starts hitting Fujimoto, and only stops when someone opens the door to the room. It is none other than the politician Kazuko, who also happens to be Naoki's mother. Upon finding out that he is about to die, she hugs him in tears, but follows it up by asking him to help her in the campaign, since he is sacrificing himself for the national prosperity law. Naoki always knew that his mother was selfish, but the comment still takes him by surprise. He loses his mind and kicks everyone out of his room. Fujimoto returns to his office and reports the incident to his boss. Not wasting more time, he is handed the second file of the day. It talks about a man named Satoshi who has a blind younger sister. His parents died in a car crash long ago, which also took away his sister Sakura's vision. The brother and sister suffered financially after being orphaned and had to live separately since Sakura was a minor. That day, Satoshi goes to her residence and asks her to move in with him because he has gotten a good job at a big company. Sakura is skeptical, having known that her brother was involved in money laundering, but after Satoshi assures her he has left that kind of life, she agrees to move in with him. Later that day, Satoshi goes to a gangster who is revealed to be his boss. He lied to his sister about the job so she would accept help from him. Elsewhere, Kazuko uses her son's death in her next speech in hopes that the people will sympathize with her and shower her with votes. Naoki watches the speech and burns in rage. The fear of death and hatred for his mother turns him into a maniac, hungry for blood. Outside his room, his loving father is begging him to spend the day together. When he opens the door to check on his son, Naoki has already left through the window. He is in the streets looking for his first target. Just then, he comes across a policeman and beats him to death before running away with his gun. Using the weapon, he goes on a killing spree. Fujimoto is warned to be careful because he might be on the hit list. The next morning, Satoshi buys a house for himself and his sister. He is excited to start a new life and help Sakura go to college. At the same time, Fujimoto knocks on his door to notify him that he only has 24 hours to live. When no one opens it, he leaves a number at the door. Upon returning home and calling the number, Satoshi is faced with the harsh truth. He crushes a mirror on the wall in frustration, just like his hopes and dreams were crushed. Later, he goes to meet Sakura, but doesn't tell her about the notice. Instead, he decides to donate his eyes to her right after his death. If his sister gets to see because of him, Satoshi will be happy till the end. But he also knows that she would never agree to go through surgery if she finds out he will be dying. The doctors and staff at the hospital agree to help him keep the secret. They decide to operate the next morning, an hour after Satoshi's death. In the meantime, Fujimoto finds out Satoshi's location and goes to the hospital to give him the Ikigami papers. While they are talking, Sakura overhears the last part of the conversation and asks Satoshi if the Ikigami is for him. He lies that Fujimoto confused him with someone else named Satoshi. Sakura senses that he might be lying, since the time of the Ikigami's death and her operation align. She promises to go through the surgery only after 10 a.m. the next day, because she wants to make sure her brother doesn't die. Satoshi confidently promises her, even though he knows it won't be possible. When she is not around, he loses his cool and attacks Fujimoto for ruining his plan. Fujimoto feels bad for the siblings, but can do nothing to help them. On his way back to the office, he notices Naoki at the train station. Looking at how he hides his hand, he seems to be carrying a gun. To stop him from causing more damage, Fujimoto follows him and ends up in an election program where Kazuko is delivering the last campaign speech. Kazuko notices her son among the crowd, and like the self-centered idiot that she is, arrives, assumes that he has come to support her. She asks the people to make way for him, giving him a perfect line of shot. Fujimoto tries his best to stop the guy, but the crowd doesn't allow it. Suddenly, Naoki fires at his mother, but misses the shot. Chaos ensues as everyone starts running for their lives. Naoki has the chance to shoot her again, but right then, he remembers the time she tried to stop him from getting the chip embedded when he was 10. She was vocally against the national prosperity law until she became a politician herself. Naoki finally lowers his gun, but is shot by a policeman at that very moment. His father runs to catch him and witnesses his death while holding him close. Fujimoto observes everything from afar and is overwhelmed with many emotions. He has seen so much sadness in this job that he has to help Sakura to redeem himself. He runs back to Satoshi and suggests they change the time on every watch in the hospital to an hour early. That way, when the clock hits 9, Sakura will think it is 10 and allow for the operation. They talk to all the hospital staff and patients, and everyone agrees to help. Fujimoto works the entire night to create flyers explaining the situation. Then, they distribute it to everyone in the hospital, just to ensure Sakura won't find out about the plan in any way, because handing out a bunch of physical evidence is super subtle. The morning comes, and Sakura is told the wrong time. She gets suspicious and starts asking strangers if her brother is telling the truth. Everyone, having already read the flyer, takes Satoshi's side. Eventually, Sakura is happily taken for surgery at 9:30 a.m. She thinks she will return to see her brother's face. Only when she is out of sight does Satoshi break into tears. Everyone who watches him mourn cannot help but tear up. In the following scene, the higher officials from Fujimoto's office are in a re-evaluation meeting. By helping Satoshi in his personal matters, he has breached the employment contract. As a result, his 1 year's worth of salary and bonus is deducted, and he is sent to be trained again. Later, Fujimoto is alone in a room with his immediate boss. He loses patience and claims that the prosperity law is nothing but bullshit. Before he can further express his hate, the boss stops him because they are being watched. He asks Fujimoto to keep quiet until it is the right time to talk, revealing that he is also against the law. Soon, the people will speak, they will protest, and the government will pay for killing thousands of innocent citizens. In the last scene, we see Morio returning to sing in the street in the memory of his friend. Kazuko has lost the election, but her husband's spirit is as good as new. He plans to run in the election next year and remove the prosperity law one way or another. Sakura has also gone through a successful surgery and has regained her vision. She is thankful for her brother's sacrifice, despite being heartbroken about his death. She visits the house he bought for them and finds a mirror as a gift from Satoshi. A note behind it says that she is the most beautiful girl in the world. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.